Hey everybody, welcome to the broadcast. Just waiting on one more person here, a special guest who's going to be joining us a little bit later on. So we will just give him a couple moments. How's everybody doing out there? First, let's just check in. I want to see how the audio and video is sounding. And then my friend Charles, if you're out there somewhere, go ahead and join the broadcast, and we'll bring you on in a little while. Let me shoot a quick message to him. Thank you guys for your patience. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and dive in and trust that he will be here one way or another. Let's see. So it said, Anonymous says, I made a terrible mistake yesterday. Did a few of the eye exercises, then went to see the new Furious 7 movie, and the camera work on that movie raped my eyes like they were bright red. Yeah, I can imagine. Probably won't have any permanent damage from that, but you might have been a little bit more open than normal when you went to see it. Audio and video fine here. Great. So just to say welcome to everybody. I'm not sure where everybody is calling in from, so why don't you let me know? I know we have England representing. We've got a guy from Canada. We've got another guy from California showing up. Ian from England. Edmar from Puerto Rico. Marcel from Germany. So we've got a nice, and I'm calling in from Bogota, Colombia. So let's see, I wanted to give you guys the view here. Let's do that before we really dive in. So I'll take the camera, unplug that, and just give you the view real fast. So that's just the apartment, but the view outside, you can see, that's the view outside where I'm staying right now. This is in Bogota. So you can see it's in the mountains, the capital of the country. You can kind of see the mountains up and back there. They surround it on all sides. It's pretty interesting to be living here. For those of you who are viewing now, it looks like there's a bunch of viewers also. Well, maybe you're all on the same page. If not, I'll type it into the chat. Any of you guys watching this on YouTube or Google Plus, go over to the link you'll find on the Command Z Facebook page. You'll end up at the proper page. But if not, I'll send you guys a link there anyway for later on. So. Okay, cool. Oh, now Ness is also from the Cali Bay area. All right, so I'm glad you guys got to see the view. That's where I'm staying right now. Just got back here from a month on the Caribbean coast here, which was also extremely beautiful and fun. Just a hell of a good time. So now it's a little colder, but I'm enjoying it. So anyway, enough with the geography questions. We found out that the audio and video is working well for you guys. So what I want to start out with first, and we might not address these right away, but I want to get the questions on the table and get you guys thinking. So the first thing I want to ask you is, what's your biggest social fear? What's your biggest social fear or catastrophe? Now, if some of you are watching this on a video later on, just make a note of that for yourself. Write out what are your biggest social fears. And by catastrophe, I mean the situation you imagine would happen if you did your feared thing, or if you went through with the feared action. So if your social fears were to come to fruition, what would the catastrophe be? So take a moment and type those into the chat. Now we might have a slight delay here. So yeah, just take a moment and type those into the chat. So let's see what you guys have to say. For anyone just joining us, we're asking the question, what's your biggest social fear or catastrophe? So the catastrophe is what you imagine the result of the fear might be. So I'm going to try and get our other guy in here while you guys type in your answers. So go ahead and type those in, and let's see what you guys have to say. What's the biggest social fears? And Pablinov 123 says, the pants fall down and everybody sees me naked. Yep, that's a big one. A lot of people have dreams. Have you guys ever had those dreams where you are at school or at work or out in public somewhere completely naked or just wearing underwear? Ian says, being rejected and becoming a social outcast. That's a good one too. Yeah. We actually have well, this could be a metaphor too, but we actually have a primitive survival mechanism that makes us feel like social rejection is actually a survival threat. It feels like a legitimate survival threat. So what we're going to do today is show you how to subvert that survival threat, both using logic and reason, and then also using physical tools with the body. So we're going to hit that, and then with adventures too, we're going to hit that on all angles. The cool thing about all this is that once you catch wind of what the life of the confident adventurer that's available to you, once you catch wind of what that is composed of, how that feels and how you can approach life, how that'll give you a solution to every problem you ever have, it's just going to blow your mind. It's just going to blow your mind. And that's why I call it social invincibility, because we're not trying to just alleviate social anxiety or work through your fears. We're trying to execute your inner victim, okay, to execute your inner victim and then let you step into the life of the confident adventurer. So the life of the confident adventurer provides you an instant solution to any problem you have. And it's been available to you all along. So I'm going to show you why exactly you've been blocking yourself access to that, okay? And then how, more importantly, how to demolish that, to demolish those blockades, kill the inner victim, get out of your own way, and allow your inner confident adventurer to emerge. So the cool thing, what I want you to keep in mind is this is different from any other system you've ever tried, guaranteed. Because what we're doing here is not adding any new knowledge, not adding any new tricks or tips or any of that kind of stuff, no scripts or anything like that. What we're doing is trusting that your innate capabilities as a creature, as a human, as a piece of existence fit in here, and that you have a natural growth capacity within you. Okay, you can see that by looking at any plants or animals and by your own life. You used to be small, now you're bigger. That happened naturally. You didn't have to do anything to do that. But imagine if you're a little kid and you took chains and ropes and tied them all around you and put yourself into a little box. You would grow a little, but you would grow within those constraints, within those chains. Now that's what's happened to our minds. We've grown up within constraints that make us believe we're a victim. In fact, that's like an addictive drug, this victim, this victimage, the inner victim. It's like something you can always use. You can always find data in your experience to prove to yourself that you're a victim, okay? And when you stop doing that, you'll start to see where you used to find things that made you feel bad, you start to see opportunities and adventures all around you. And I'll tell you some personal stories, personal experiences all about that. But just to, long story short, I used to spend a lot of time, even in the midst of beautiful places, beautiful adventures, being upset, being angry, being frustrated because things apparently weren't going my way. Now I see that things are always going my way, and I'm able to interact smoothly and freely with whoever I want, and to really block out whoever I don't want in my life. That's another big part of social invincibility, is being able to say no and stop giving a fuck about people that don't matter to you, people that are holding you back. Now Edmar asks, so most social fears are built in, so to speak. You could say that, yeah, because what it looks like to me, at least in experience out in the world, is that people seem to be afraid of each other. Almost everyone is thinking about what other people are thinking about. I mean, why do you think the malls and shopping centers are so filled with people trying to get fashionable? Most of the time, people aren't buying like nice clothes and things just because of how they feel. There are some people I know who do that, who love the feeling of nice, fine materials. And that's great. But the point is, look at what people are really doing there. It's a big competition. It's like life or the world is like a fashion show on some level. And that even plays out in places like super poor places like Liberia. The kids will compete over T-shirts that show up on crates that are donated from other countries. They'll snatch them up at the docks and then trade them out And whoever gets the most rare of the t-shirts kind of like is at the higher part of the social circles, okay? So it's a really weird competition that's going on. It's a competition that doesn't really serve anybody. So once you stop taking part in that competition, in that fashion show, then you're free to re-enter the game in a way that makes sense and feels good to you, the same way you might decorate a character in a role-playing game. If you've ever played any more recent computer-based or console-based role-playing games, you'll see you can create a character down to the shape of their face and the clothing they wear. So think of how you might develop a character in a game like that, where the stakes are very different from when you're doing it in this real-life place, seeming real-life place, okay? Something to think about. So that question dives into a lot of things. So let's look at some of the other ones that came up here. Being laughed at by a group of people. That's a really good one. The cool thing about all these fears is we're going to help you face and go through all of those. Not necessarily today because we have an hour and a half, but during the 2-week Art of Not Giving a Fuck Victim to Adventure Social Invincibility workshop that's starting on 4/20, we're going to actually create scenarios live on Skype for just 11 people with a few other surprise guests I'm not going to tell you about yet, where you'll be able to face all these social situations in a closed, safe way, so you can go through all the feelings, go through all the imagined catastrophes, and then come out the other end feeling powerful. So we're going to turn your social anxiety into power, into social invincibility. We can do that in 2 weeks. Today, I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it. So those of you watching will be able to take what you learn here today and apply it on your own. But what I'm also offering is for those of you ready to really dive in, who want the day-to-day help and consistency with sticking with it and really overcoming your social anxiety forever. That's why I made the other program. Okay, so we'll talk more about that at the end. But stay through the entire thing today. We're going to do exercises together, experiments, do a lot of interactive kind of fun stuff. And then once we do that, at the end, I'm going to give you guys a really special bonus just for being here for the webinar. So stay through to the end. Now, the next thing I wanted to ask, well, we'll get to that later. Let's just dive in here. First thing I wanted to mention is a quote that the old Dr. Hyatt once told me. And he said, I was saying all these fears, all these social fears that I had, and I was really upset and afraid in those days in so many ways. And I was posturing. I won't explain all of it and get into all the details here, but he said, you know, if you get caught with your pants down, so what? So fucking what? What's the big deal? And I thought about that quote for a long, long time, for many years, until I finally stopped giving a fuck about certain people in my life and let my real self emerge. And that's what I was afraid of getting caught as, getting caught with my pants down, getting caught as a real person without the shield, without the clothing, without the protective layer, the armor, okay? So if you get caught with your pants down, so what? Somebody rips you off, so what? Somebody betrays you, so fucking what? You did something wrong, you let somebody down, you hurt somebody, that happens, so what? Okay? So remember that. That's a really empowering quote. Keep that in your mind, write it down if you want to hold on to it. So the second thing I'm going to get into here, I want to relate to you on a personal level. I know that social anxiety really sucks. It's like one of the worst things in the world to feel. It's crippling, it's paralyzing. And the reason I say it's one of the worst things in the world is because almost anything you want to accomplish in your life, almost anything, is going to involve you dealing with other people. Even if it means you hiring people to be a barrier between you and dealing with other people, okay? So it's a terrible thing. It's a terrifying thing to know when you get out among all these people, or you go to ask for, even you think about going to ask for a raise, or you want to start a business, you want to do YouTube videos, do webinars like this, or workshops with other people to make money and to stop working a fucking job, right? And then you go out to try and do it and you feel paralyzed. I know that feeling. The breathing gets shallow. You start feeling like this, and there's tension, butterflies feeling in the stomach, just a fear of paralysis, and then the tension in the belly leads up to the shoulders coming up like this. You kind of cringe into yourself. The face looks down usually. Okay, so all those things start happening. You start just getting, and Edmar says, afraid of being labeled as a bum, something similar. Regarding getting approval, Lori says, one of my fears is that people laugh or mock me when I present them with a piece of art I've created, music or painting. Great. So we're bringing up how this relates to creativity as well. So we're talking about business. We're talking about creativity. It affects not only those aspects of your life, but it affects your dating life. You know, it affects your ability to relate to your friends and family. It affects your ability to get loans for a business. It affects your ability to even get the table you want at a restaurant you like. It affects every single interaction in your life. So what I mean by that, if we can diminish and get rid of that social anxiety, we can cut it off at its roots once and for all, you're going to get a taste of the life of the adventure. And this is the interesting thing. Once you get a taste of the adventure inside you waiting to come out, just like Indiana Jones, once you get a taste of that and a feel for navigating from the adventurous perspective instead of from the victim perspective, what you're going to find that it's impossible for you to have those social fears and problems anymore. You might have the same feelings, but what you're going to realize is that the feelings weren't what you thought they were. The feelings of anxiety will become excitement. I learned that during rock climbing adventures. I was out rock climbing. I thought I was terrified, but what it was, I was super fucking excited. I was excited to be out there. Okay? So you're going to learn how to interpret what you used to call fear as excitement, and then how to roll with that, how to run with that, how to use that to navigate and empower your life so that you can start to navigate your life based on intensity. You start to feel more intensity in a certain direction. You move in that direction. You start to see your world in a new way. The people, you'll know who it is you can meet and go deep with in an instant because they're three-dimensional against this two-dimensional backdrop. Okay, so you'll be able to know opportunities in your life by how they open up to you. It's in a three-dimensional, tactile, physical way. Okay, there's nothing magical or occult or mystical about this. This is just how reality works. It's super cool. Okay, so once you get a taste for that life of the adventure, you just won't be able to go back to your old problems anymore. They'll be boring to you. You'll be playing a new game. It's like you just got an Xbox One and you used to have an Atari, you know, and you're not going to go back to the problems of the old broken Atari. You're going to play the Xbox One. So you're diving into a new way of life. That's what I aim to accomplish with every program that I put out, with everything that I do with Art of Not Giving a Fuck, every single YouTube video, every podcast, every communication, is for you to stop being a victim and for you to start living your life as an adventure. And it's way easier and way more available right now to you than you think. Okay, so let's keep moving. Who am I? So there might be some of you guys new. I know I've worked with some of you guys I see in the chat already, but there's a lot more people here than that. And by the way, I want to say we're just getting started. If you know anybody in your life who can benefit from this, just look at the button right below the chat there, and you'll see you can share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, or share it on Google+. So go ahead and do that if you're enjoying it, and if you want some of your friends to join in, just share it there, and they'll get this link, and they can come and join us. All right, folks. So, and actually a better way to do that is go up just into your browser bar and share that link, because now I'm not sure that those likes down there are working in the way that I want them to, but you know, always improving. So, who am I? I'm Garrett Dawn. I'm the guy who started Command Z a long time ago with my good friend Riley. Now he's no longer with the business, but he and I still do sessions for each other. So I'm the guy who started this business with him, and then later I started the Art of Not Giving a Fuck. The thing is, I used to be terrified of all this kind of stuff. I used to be terrified of doing videos, terrified of talking to people, terrified of my friends, terrified of my enemies, terrified by my own imagination. And that was all through school. And then even when I started opening up in high school, we moved to another town, and the people didn't really like me there. It's like moving to the country from the city. I'm glad for the experience now, but at the time, I felt shitty about it. And so I had social anxiety kind of like my whole childhood. And then in college, it got even worse. I was just imagining all these insane feelings and thoughts and scenarios. And something finally broke. I mean, it was really when I was hitchhiking around and when I started doing Undoing, all these different elements came to play. And I've since then distilled that down to a workable approach that you can use, and a workable organic approach you apply in the midst of your daily life, okay? Not something the top-heavy system. So I used to be terrified of all those things, and now I'm not, basically. Now I'm not. I can approach whoever I want. I know who I'm going to meet and who I'm going to engage with in the world. I like to do workshops. I could talk in front of 20,000 people or talk directly to one person and feel just as comfortable in either scenario. Starting conversations with new people or with angry people, no problem. Okay, so just not afraid of anybody. I don't want to be hurt or attacked, and I sometimes feel pain, you know, and wounds, but they don't last a long time and they're easy to get over. Okay, so and that's what's available to you as well. What I want you to do is to tune in and to feel the part of yourself that can't be wounded or hurt or upset or any of those things. The part of you that's just on the experiential level, the 95% of you that's just here having an experience watching the movie unfold. Okay, the other 5% is like this little part of us that's the victim. It's necessary for some reasons, but it's time to kill it off. Okay, so I won't get into that in great detail in the call. There's plenty of podcasts and other places you can find out more about that. Okay, so I've been through the ringer. I've done a lot of adventuring in my life, and I used to live as a victim. Even during my adventures, I acted like the victim. So I refuse to do that anymore. Now the rest of my life is adventure from here on out, all the way, no matter what happens, no matter what circumstances I face, I will always be an adventurer, and I know that. And that's what I want to offer to you. So that's who I am. I'm Garrett Don. I'm the guy. I like to call myself a garbage man because I come in, I help you demolish the parts of yourself that you are using to get in your way, get those chains off you, and allow you to grow more freely. So I take out the trash. I show up, I explode that trash in a really fun way with you. We take it out and then send you back into your life. And in your own way, success on your own terms, doing what you like from moment to moment, day to day. That's the life that's available to you, okay? So the next thing we'll get into here is just to cover a little bit what this call is about. If you're willing to be an adventurer, I wanted to share with you, if you're really willing to be an adventurer, some really cool things start to happen in your life, okay? So some of the things that happen, I wanted to tell you a story. So this is a story where I could have victimized myself with this a long time ago, but something changed in me after all these years of undoing, after all these years of adventuring, and after learning more about myself and going through the processes I'm going to share with you today. This story was able to happen. So what happened was I got some tickets. Already none of this, I wouldn't even be in Colombia, first of all, if I hadn't have conquered my inner victim and overcome social fears and became socially invincible. So living as a confident adventurer. Okay, I wouldn't even be here on this video, but I wouldn't also be here in Bogota, Colombia, a country where it's not the language I was first born with. Then from there, decided to fly out to a remote place on the Caribbean coast, first to Santa Marta, then out to this tiny little town, which I'm not going to tell you the name of because actually I want to keep it to myself. This tiny little town to spend a month in this, like a hut built to the traditional native style in that region, in the jungle, some rivers, the ocean. So stayed in that hut, and all these things started to degrade. The internet was coming and going. It wasn't as good as I needed it to be. It was super expensive to keep the internet going, like on this 3G device and tower. Then the water stopped working where we were living, so I was hauling water up. And then these chickens, these baby chickens there, got injured. And so I started taking care of them, me and my partner. And then from there, things got even more crazy. We were out of electricity. So I'm still trying to give sessions and doing all this, running around town. But at this point, we're just rolling with it, going with the flow, seeing it like a complete, beautiful adventure, even though it's getting more and more physically difficult to maintain. But we're still pushing through it. So long story short, I was willing to go along with the situation, taking care of these dogs, taking care of all these animals. And suddenly, the situation just flipped. It was supposed to be another 12 days there. And suddenly, I gave an undoing session to a resort owner down there in this beautiful, beautiful eco, humble place. And he gave us a room, his best room, for 2 nights in trade for that session. And then the company through which I was booking the original place opened up because of the strife that they perceived us having gone through, opened us up to a new place in another town closer to Santa Marta. And what ended up happening is we ended up staying in this insane, like alien-looking dome desert house built according to the way the winds move in that area. So the winds blowing up through the house throughout the day, these inside-outside areas, beautiful, just insanely beautiful. And then it turned out to be the house built by the founder of one of my partners in my favorite band, Sistema Solar. So you're going to hear soon a podcast with those guys, with the founder, and then with some of their music. But we had seen them when I first came to Bogota, and I was just blown away. They were amazing. They were a beautiful band, a beautiful experience, and just blew my mind. So we ended up staying at the house that was built by the founder, and then they invited us to one of their private shows in Santa Marta. It was just mind-blowing, just absolutely mind-blowing, okay? But now if I had been a victim of any of those pieces of that adventure, I wouldn't have opened up to everything. I mean, I have contacts there that are going to be lifelong friends, you know, in these little towns, these little tiny areas. And it was just crazy adventure every single day. And I managed to keep everything going, keep the business going, and have a hell of a lot of fun and laughs every single day. So that life, that adventure wouldn't have been available to me had I still been living as a victim, pre-undoing. I would never have come to Colombia, number one. Then number two, I never would have gone to the coast. Number three, I would have victimized myself constantly and cried and whined and ended up at some sterile hotel somewhere, okay? So that's not what we want. We want is the life of a victim to go away, excuse me. We want the life of an adventure. We want to kill the life of the victim, okay? I get a little daydreamy thinking about it. It was very fun taking care of those baby chickens, sleeping with them in the bed, and not the most hygienic situation, but really the sweetest thing ever. I mean, the sounds they make and just how sweet they are. I mean, when you start to live the life of the body, you recognize there's other creatures and characters that might approach you, and you have something to offer them, which is just your own chill relaxation, you know, just holding a baby chicken that has a hurt leg. I mean, that's to me one of the most rewarding experiences of my entire life, is the tiny details that happen on these adventures. I mean, to share another layer of that, there was the first day these huge cockroaches showed up, and when I was the victim, I would have just killed the things and been terrified and probably would have left. But it showed up, and at first I started to wonder. And my partner, she said, well, it's because it's so windy outside. Those things are just suffering. You know, they're just being blown away by the wind certain times a day. So they flew over and came into the house, and they would like walk by, fly by us, and then crawl over to a nice, cool, dark part of the room. And then as soon as the wind died down, I don't know if they heard it or felt it or whatever, they would crawl back out the same way, go right back outside. So, and if you look at them, they were just rainbow and gorgeous and just gorgeous, beautiful creatures, you know, just the most beautiful insect, if you will, that I've ever seen. And so that was something I wouldn't have been able to handle previously, but now I would have felt like such an asshole killing the thing, because it was just this great presentation. I mean, what an exquisite thing, this insect. So I really felt for it. I felt like I was welcomed by all these creatures, these giant, crazy, poisonous spiders and whatnot. So everything was fine the whole time, you know? It was really good. And so that's what happens, you know? And I mean, that's how I met Dr. Hyatt. That's how I got involved with anything that I find really delightful and successful and beautiful in my life, is by conquering the inner victim and stepping out, really being willing to be embarrassed, being willing to face lack of approval. The idea here, during all this stuff, you're going to approve of yourself 100%, and then you won't need validation or approval for anyone else. You can be the only one who gets the joke, and that's fine. That's all you ever need. Remember, you're the only one who needs to be laughing, and then you've already won. You're all good. If other people laugh, fine, so be it, and they get the benefits too. Okay, so that's what we're going to cover today. We've got another hour, so we're doing good. I wanted to mention at this point too, take a little pause. The big secret here, the real big secret, is to stop competing for scraps. That's the hard life, okay? So if you're competing for minimum wage jobs with other people, you're competing, even in business, you're competing to sell a $10 product instead of a $10,000 product. You know, just realize that the big, successful, personally successful winners in life are not competing for scraps. They go for the gold all the time. So that's what I'm telling you to do. Start now. Reassess what you're doing with your life and go for the gold. Go for solid, awesome fun and enjoyment all day, every day for the rest of your fucking life. You understand what I mean? Solid fun and enjoyment all day, every day, from now until the end of your life, okay? That's the idea. Go for the gold all the time. The gold in your opinion, not what anyone else says you need to be going for, okay? So if there's any other questions, if the show somehow dies or if we run out of juice or time here, I want you guys to know you can write me at radicalundoing@gmail.com. Radicalundoing@gmail.com. I'll write that in here. I check that all the time. So if you guys want to reach out, or if you just have personal questions or things you want to ask me about what the big workshop's going to be about, then just write me there and we can get into a personal dialogue about that. I know sometimes these things are not always the easiest to share with other people. So just so you know, you have that now. Okay. And again, I want you guys to remember, stay all the way to the end. You'll see that there's some awesome bonuses that we're going to get into and some cool things I'll tell you about at the very end. All right. So from here on out, what we're going to cover is, I'll tell you another quick story. We're going to share some stories from clients. Some of you guys are in the chat room. Charles, if you're here, what I'd like you to do, if I can't bring you up on air like we did before, I'm going to go ahead and send you an invite again. What I want you to do is to be in the chat room there. Let me try to invite you again. So if you guys hear that, that's me inviting Mr. Charles. And if you can hear me, even if you have to do it anonymous, go ahead and type into the chat room if you would, Mr. Charles. Let me go ahead and send him a message, and we'll keep going here. But there was a part. Let me see if I can send him this. Anyway, so if we don't see him, then that's fine. But hopefully we can have him on here because he's got a real cool story to tell about social anxiety. See if he can check that out. Anyway, so what we'll do, let me say one more thing. Try Hangouts on the phone, man. Sometimes these technical difficulties get in the way. I really want you guys to hear his story. Okay, so I'm not even sure if he's there now, but anyway, what we do here is always go with the flow. There's no problems and nothing that can't be overcome, so we'll just keep going. So what we'll talk about here quick, the first thing I wanted to say, there was one guy who was afraid of the bus who used to write in and did a few sessions, and after that he was totally fine riding the bus, totally fine around other people, never had to talk about it again. That's the power of hypnosis too. So during the long term, the 2-week workshop, we're going to just hammer home on 8 different hypnosis experiences, 8 different undoing experiences, and 8 different points. We'll get into all of what those are shortly, so you guys can have a pen and paper ready to write those 8 down. Basically, how did I even get here? How am I doing this video right now? Riley and I a long time ago heard about this 100 video strategy, which we kind of botched. We didn't do our research to make it super valuable like it could have been, but it was super valuable in another way. The way that it was super valuable was we recorded 100 videos of ourselves in 2 days. So we kind of got wasted and just, well, slowly throughout the recording of these 100 videos. And we did 80 the first night and then the other, or 70 the first night and the other 30 the next day. And by the way, if you want access to those, you can write me at radicalundoing@gmail.com. I might be able to send you a couple links. They're pretty funny. What's the deal with hippies? Is all answers to 100 questions. What's going to happen in 2012? You know, there's a lot of classic, beautiful stuff. You'll never see any other way. I have them private, but anyway, we're also going to cover social paralysis and how that affects your life. We're going to cover the solution to social anxiety, the 100% solution, which is undoing, hypnosis, adventure. Hypnosis, undoing, and adventure. Okay, that's the solution. Remember that. Write that down. The solution to social anxiety is undoing, hypnosis, adventure. Undoing means getting all the shit out of your way, stopping obstructing yourself, stopping giving a fuck about all the stuff that's holding you back, stopping your problems by diving into your adventure. That's how you solve your problems. You dive into your adventure and let your problems collapse. Let the fucking thing collapse. Let your fears come to fruition, and then you see that you're alive, you're fireproof, you're bulletproof. That's where real confidence comes from. It's not something you have to think about. Okay? not something you can think your way into. So social paralysis, let's cover a little bit of this. Social paralysis. If you want to do YouTube videos, when I had to do those 100 videos, I had to just sit there and go through it. And after that many, I finally just was okay and comfortable. Just as comfortable in front of the camera as I am with other people or by myself, okay? So how does social paralysis affect your life? Number one, you want to ask for a raise, but you don't even think about doing it because you're terrified, okay? You're terrified of rejection. Even if it doesn't mean you'll get fired, you're terrified of going and doing it. I can show you methods freely available online that will help you actually get the raise, and I will help you not be afraid when you go to do it and to feel and know that you're the one in charge, not your boss, okay? You're always in charge. You're the one in charge in your life, not your boss, not anybody else. Number two, it affects your life with your family and friends. They can dominate you. They can walk all over you. They can suck your time and your money and your life away, or they can be a boon. They can be people who really benefit you, who you really enjoy having in your life, okay? It affects your dating life. It affects your ability to meet women. You know the women you can go meet and talk to. You can feel it right away. It's there in your body. You already know that. Or for you women watching, if it's men, you know who stands out to you, okay? I'm going to show you how to go in and approach these people with ease and with joy and with fun in a way that benefits them and you, so you can feel good about it. And it also affects your business life. If you're trying to do business, if you can't make deals and negotiate and communicate with people without fear of rejection, a fear of embarrassment getting in your way, you won't go far. You really won't go far. I encourage you to look into investing, some kind of silent, hidden investing if you're too terrified of people. But I'm going to show you how to do business too. So all of those areas of your life are going to start to bloom automatically, effortlessly, if you follow the exact steps that I give you, okay, in today and then in the extended workshop that you're going to see. So the next thing I wanted to do here was the case study with Noel. Now let's see if he's in the chat room at all. My friend Charles. If he's there. If not, I'll just relate the story and we'll make sure to get him online tomorrow. I don't see any notifications from him, so that's sad. But basically, I was going to ask him, to explain to you guys how he felt socially before undoing in hypnosis. So when I met Charles, he had some huge social fears going on, some fears of things that might happen, things that had happened in his past. It felt pretty overwhelming that he felt like he might never be able to overcome. So the thing was, he just felt terrified and paralyzed in social situations, okay? He's putting certain people on a pedestal, all kinds of inferiority stuff going on, So what he had tried before, he tried all kinds of programs. You wouldn't even believe the amount of fortitude this guy has. He was applying himself endlessly with subliminals, with working out, with hypnosis stuff you can get online, tapes, CDs, all kinds of just unimaginable social self-help type programs, okay? He tried all that stuff out. None of it really worked. It would work a little, but not anything where he felt like he got to the root of things. So what finally worked, he did the Undoing in Hypnosis workshop with me, the Victim to Adventure 4-week workshop, one of our early experiments with that process. And after that, he can go out. People are attracted to him automatically. He feels good. He actually quit his job. He's doing what he wants to do every day from moment to moment, working on his own business. So the guy just started to bloom. It happened really fast. So that's what I'm trying to let you guys know, that that can happen for you too. You can just get out of your own way and suddenly your life blossoms in a beautiful way. I say it's effortless because you're not working on the things you think you need to work on. All the things you think you need to change, fix, and improve in your life are a lie. That's a lie. You don't need to change, fix, or improve anything. Just start to step in to the adventure, okay? Start to step in to the adventure, kill the inner victim, and then everything else will happen on its own. It's like your movie becomes, your life becomes the best movie ever, and it's endless. It's always going on. You don't have to wait for the release date. It's always going on. Sweet. We've got Charles here in the chat. Charles, I was just sharing some of your story, so hopefully you heard what I said. Why don't you just go ahead and type in. I'll ask those questions, and then we'll go along, and then we'll bring them up along the way. So the first question I wanted to ask you, you heard me say it already. How did you feel socially before we met, before you started doing Undoing in Hypnosis? Just type that into the chat, and I'll keep going, and we'll come and revisit some of his answers. Okay? So go ahead and type that into the chat, Charles, and thank you for showing up. Let's take a look at one other thing before we get going here. I need to see my monitor and the chat. Bring this down here, and we'll bring this right over here. There we go. Good. Okay, so what we're going to do next, as Charles types that in, and thank you for doing that, Charles. We've got a little delay probably on the video versus the chat. So, Charles, just go ahead and type that in. And now, well, I was going to cover his question, so we'll move on to the next bit of this. So what we want to cover now, first thing I want to ask you guys all in the chat, have you all received the social anxiety, social invincibility worksheet, right? Because if you didn't, I can make sure to get that to you right now. Okay, let me see if I can get that. And you better damn well tell me that one of you guys did that, because we're going to cover some of that stuff here. We'll be okay if you didn't. All right. Okay. So Charles says, how did he feel socially before I'm doing hypnosis? Now, like shit. Ha ha. I hated who I was and was always trying to change it. Realizing that I was okay as I am allowed me to see that I wasn't as terrible socially as I thought. So that's a cool thing. You see, that's the interesting thing. I'll show you what, and then we'll show you that problem once and for all in the extended workshop. The next question, just make a list of all the things you tried before undoing an hypnosis, all the things you tried to accomplish this. And for those of you guys who see that, right below the video here came up, says join the complete live workshop. So you can click on that now, and that'll to 11 guys, or 11 guys and women, because I want us all to work. I want us all to work together in a really close knit way. And if we get over 10 or 11 people, that's just too many. So, okay, so two anonymous said they got it. Edmar says he got it. Now, did you guys do the exercises in there? Did you guys actually go through and do the exercises? We can't open that yet. Can I have some water first? Let me know if you did. Charles, you're busy making a list of all the things you tried before. Don't sweat it. Just make, it doesn't have to be thorough. Just write a list of what you remember. I got cut off? Oh, what happened? It says I'm live. You still hearing me? Okay, good, I'm back. Okay, hopefully you guys are still hearing me, still seeing me. I still see me on the monitor, so we don't know what happened. Let's just check in. Okay, so we're gonna start going through that worksheet, but it was really bad. I don't think you got it. I sent it by email. Yeah, it came when you registered for this workshop, Frody. When you registered for this workshop, it should have come to you. I was going to see, I can actually get you guys the link for it right now. If you didn't, you'll still just register through this same link. And so you guys know we're going to do the same. We're going to do this workshop again, just so you know. But we'll go ahead and click to here, realm.com, because the point is not to have the worksheet in front of you right now, it's to have your answers from the worksheet. So anyway, you guys, you did the worksheet. I looked over it. Okay, Edmar, learn about yourself there. You want to look at any areas in your life where you're just looking at the actions you need to take, but not taking them. You see, so that's a good way to meditation, EFT, self-hatred. That's a good one. PS Tech, affirmations, visualization, therapy, shut up and just do it, face the fear, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's what Charles tried before. Okay, so now the question is, what finally worked in your own words? Well, you already said in your own words what finally worked, and we know the undoing and hypnosis combo. And then he also said, let's scroll up here. Okay, so, well, we don't see it up there anyway, but in any case, here's the thing. Now, the next thing I want you to answer, Charles, how do you feel now socially? So after that couple of weeks of the workshops, after some undoing sessions, some hypnosis sessions, how do you feel now? How do you feel socially now? What's the difference? What's the difference? So type that into the chat room for us. Okay, and then what we're going to get into is that worksheet. So for those of you who did the worksheet, have your answers ready, and we'll dive into that. But first, the first thing I showed you was a bunch of exercises, okay? You got a whole bunch of exercises, plus you got the link to do the daily live undoing exercises through Stream, or STRE.am/radical undoing. I'll show you where that is. STRE.am/radical undoing. I'll type that in. But to get notices about when that's going on, you'll have to join the Radical Undoing Facebook group or the Twitter group at twitter.com/radical undoing or facebook.com/command Z, all one word. Okay, so you can find out about the daily live undoing stuff there. Okay, so the other thing is you'll find there's a bunch of exercises at youtube.com/radical undoing. There's a bunch of playlists. I included one playlist in the PDF I sent you, and I included links to the Facebook pages. Okay. So now what we're going to do during that first thing, I also asked you to make a searching inventory of tensions and other chronic sensations in your body. We're going to use those tension maps when we work together in the full workshop, the one that you see when you click the button below. So we're going to work, when we work together during that full workshop, we're going to use that map of tensions in your body to determine exact undoing exercises for you. But for today, we're going to go through 4 of them that are just perfect all the time, perfect every single day for you to be able to flow with your life, to step into the inner adventure. And these exercises will kill off the inner victim. These are one way for you to start killing off the inner victim, okay? So it's 4 exercises and one special exercise at the end, a special non-exercise. One of the Anon guys says, I did the warm-ups for some time now. The effects get better and better. For some reason, I feel very calm and relaxed, but powerful at the same time after doing those. Another guy says, me too. Also did the laughing breath as outlined from an earlier podcast. Yes, and we're going to do that together today. So Charles says, baseline confidence is great. I have my good days and bad days like anyone else, of course. But I'm nowhere near where I was before, and others have noticed. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. You feel like if you meet somebody, you can go talk to them. I mean, you're a super attractive guy, too. That's the funny thing. A lot of the guys I work with are actually really attractive, both in personality. They have some depth. But then in physical appearance, they look good. And if you do undoing, you look younger than you actually are, than the other people, than the average person at your age, let's say. So that's awesome, too. That's something, especially if you get started young. So the next thing I wanted to ask you, Charles, how long did this whole process take? Once we started working together, how long did this really take for you to get rid of that victim and to dive into your new social adventure? Let me know how long that took you, and then we'll keep going here. So we're going to do some exercises right now. The first one I'm going to give you is what I promised in that email, and that exercise is the gag reflex. This exercise will kill off the panic that happens inside you. It will literally kill off the panic. It will relax your diaphragm, deepen your breathing, dehypnotize you, open your chest, open your throat, enhance your creativity, relax your eyes and cheeks and face, kill off the emotions that were plaguing you, and help you move through what you formerly understood to be panic attacks or social anxiety or paralysis. So what you need to do, get a glass of water. Drink, a half a glass of water, whatever it is, or it feels good to you. If you just ate, don't do it now. But if you haven't just eaten, or if you're not full, you can do it. If you throw up, no big deal, okay? But, that's fine. So here's what we're going to do. You drink the water first. You can have a handy handkerchief or a paper towel. You just go like this. Oh, I breathe while you're doing it, but you want to do the gag while you're exhaling. Whoa. No, so you see, that was a full, forceful gag. I felt it in my belly, in my chest, my throat, my face, my eyes. So watch one more gag, and you guys are going to do this too. We'll do all this stuff together on Skype. It's wonderful. It's a great experience. You're going to feel more connected to the people that you go through that workshop with than you do to some of the best friends you've had your whole life. That's what happens when you start to live from the physical adventurer inside you. When you start to navigate your life from a physical position, a physical place, everything is so easy. You'll know when there's danger. You'll know when there's not. You'll know when things are awesome. You'll navigate into every adventure you ever wanted in your life, and it'll be easy to do so. Plus a bunch of adventures you didn't even know you wanted. That's the cool thing. So let's do some more gags. Oh. Oh. There's a nice full forceful gag. So you feel it. I felt that in my ass, in my perineum, in my pelvis and hips, then in my belly, chest. Made me have to uncross my legs. Chest, throat, the face, the nose, and the eyes. I'll do a couple more. Someone says they have a question. Go ahead, type your question. Fire away. Oh, one more gag. You guys do this along with me. Really, I want you to be feeling this effect, okay? Oh. Oh. There we go. Need to get a full one. Take your handy paper towel, wipe off your hands, fold it in so you don't wipe that shit in your eyes. Grab your eyes if they watered. Couple deep breaths. Feel the experience. Oh, yeah, there we go. So that gets everything moving. The idea here, you can take this and go ahead and you go out to the bar, you go out to some experience and you're feeling full of anxiety and panic starts to creep in. Instead of sitting there, I want you to dive into the feeling completely. Really feel what's going on. And then from there, go to the bathroom. You can go into the stall and do the gag reflex. You can stretch your face first, do the shoulders, but do the gags. And then head back out and see if you're just not a little more organic, okay? And that all the panic, all the fear is gone, and you're able to step in your life. That's one of your secret weapons, the gag reflex. So Charles now says, the changes were pretty immediate for me. Undoing was exactly what I was looking for, and I could tell. So I knew that even if I didn't have confidence now, I was going to have it eventually. And that made me not give a fuck. You see, he stepped right into it. It was like taking a ride. And Charles says, I had some really cool adventures that totally distorted what I thought was my social anxiety. And so you guys know Charles is going to be there with us during the complete live workshop, the 2-week experience. So he'll be there to answer questions and to help you guys go through some of these experiences as well. He's going to be helping with some of the hypnosis portion of the show, as is my partner, Paula. So yeah, go into that in the chat, man. Tell me more about that, the cool adventures. Exactly, specifically, how did you used to perceive your social anxiety and how do you perceive it now? And now another person says, it seems that doing these exercises with the group goes through similar experiences. And when we separate and read each other's experiences, and that's in the Inner Circle forum, you'll also get access to. It seems we still go through similar changes at the same time. What are your thoughts about that? Yeah, it took me probably 10 years now of doing the undoing and doing this as a business, working with so many, like thousands of other people that now I see some patterns in how it goes, but it's rather chaotic from the outside. It's chaotic from the outside, and it appears to be chaotic while you're experiencing it. And sometimes the steps can happen out of order. I have them all, actually I have all the steps sitting right here. It's funny, this is the 12 steps in the NGF Elite program that's coming up soon. That's going to be a whole different thing. Another group experience online though, yeah. That culminates in an invitation to a real life in-person workshop. But we'll get into all that later. So the next thing we'll do is just do some face stretches. To finish answering that question, yeah, there are some steps. There's like some steps along the way. So I can tell where you're at and I can help you get to the next step, and then we deal with that step from there. The cool thing is, whatever you need to do is right in front of you all the time, and it's really, really obvious. So by doing this undoing, by breaking apart the conflicts in your mind, destroying your expectations about what's supposed to be happening in your reality, then you'll just fall into it. You're just going to fall into the real masterpiece here. That's the idea. And yeah, it's pretty much the same for each of us. You go from victim to adventurer. That's the big sweeping movement. Within that, there's certain steps, and they can be moved around and all this. But I'm confident that anybody can move through these because they're natural. It's a natural process. It's an unfolding. You just get the fuck out of the way. Stop squeezing, clinging to your grave, you know. So next thing we'll do is face stretches. Let's do these together. I promise this will be experiential. So let's stretch some faces. Start to go real slow. Then you move the forehead, the cheeks, the eyes, the tongue, the lips, the jaw, the nostrils. Start to really just stretch and move real slow in every different direction. I'm going to check on something at the same time, just for you guys here. Keep doing the stretches. Do this along with me. Now make sure you're breathing while you do it. And slow down if you're moving too fast. Move with lots of tension, lots of slow tension. And keep on breathing while you do it. And keep stretching all different directions. Now, you know, sometimes I'll hold one when I really feel something. I'll hold it. I'll just keep going. At the same time, let your shoulders creep up to your ears. Now I'm going to put my feet on the floor. Shoulders up to your ears, tight as you can. Make sure your neck stays relaxed. Keep stretching and moving your face, all different directions. Shoulders up, tight as you can. What this one does, the face stretch, I'll explain them after. Let's just do them. You'll notice the intensity of the shoulders being up will also help you to increase the intensity of what you're doing with your face. Now remember to roll your eyes, move your eyes in different directions. Okay, full breath in, squeeze your face tight as you can. Shoulders up tight, full breath in. Then, thrust the shoulders down, let your face relax, relax, relax. And just be there and breathe and breathe and breathe. Now the final one we'll do together here is the laughing breath. Now these are like 5 of like 200 or 250 different things we do, rotate in and out through all the courses and all the undoing experiences. So these are 4 real powerful, reliable ones. I mean, I can feel my face just buzzing and tingling now. I want to do it for another 5 minutes. Especially the masseter muscle and the shoulders feeling so much nicer. Okay, so moving forward, now we're going to do the laughing breath. So it's 5 full breaths of ha. So you go Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. 5 full breaths of he. He 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 he. He 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 he. He 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 he. Okay, and then the 5 full breaths of ha yo. And then just let loose. And so on. So just go like that. Now, you might know you have tricks in your own mind that you can use. These laugh tracks. I watched the show Better Call Saul, episode 10 the other night, and maybe I have to see all of Breaking Bad and see Better Call Saul. I don't know. But to get up to that episode, and there's a scene where he ends up, his job is to read the bingo numbers at a bingo hall to all these elderly people. And the amount of synchronicity and just hilariousness that occurs and the way he expresses himself, you can just feel his whole internal state melting down. And I watched it 3 times, the same scene, and each time I thought I was going to die from laughter. I was like, oh, like sounding like a complete fool. I couldn't stop laughing. It was just unbelievable. So now when I do the laughing breath, I'll bring up that scene in my mind and I can feel the laughter still. So that's a great little hack there for you. If you got something that makes you really laugh, watch it every day or use it in your mind when you do exercise like this. That's a much better use of your imagination. That's what hypnosis does too. It helps you train your imagination. So you use it for your advantage, for fun and enjoyment, instead of using it to abuse yourself, the inner critic. So that leads us up to part 2 of the social invincibility formula you got in the social invincibility worksheet. Number 2 is self-acceptance. Number 1 is daily undoing and sense and feel. That's the 5th exercise. We'll talk about sense and feel at the end. That's one of the most important components. Number 2, 100% self-acceptance. Now, if you looked at the PDF I gave you, you see you got a full workshop on 100% self-acceptance. So use that, watch that, follow the experiments. Now, I asked you to write the entire time in the voice of your inner critic. Once you're finished, leave it alone for an hour, then go back to it and see if anything it had to say is actually true. So for those of you, yeah, that's a good one. One guy mentioned, so I stepped through this scenario that haunted my imagination for years. Another guy says, as I was laughing, I imagined myself with my pants down. So that's what you can do. Take your fears and bring them into the laughing breath experiment there. So Charles actually said one of the adventures he had that distorted what he thought was social anxiety, our main topic today, was that he said something to a group of friends, and the result was exactly what he imagined. It was one of his biggest social fears because he truly expressed himself, and after that, he thought his friends would never talk to him again. Just that week, they had gone on another little adventure to another town. So no big deal, right? So I want to know, for those of you who did the whole worksheet, you spent 15 minutes, you wrote in the voice of your inner critic, you went back through and to see if anything it actually had to say is true. What did you find? What was that experience like for you? Did you find the inner critic's voice to be true? So go ahead and type that in. Yep, I recognize that, Charles. He said, I stepped through a scenario that haunted my imagination for years. That's awesome. That's just awesome. Okay, so go ahead. And for any of you guys who did the worksheet, tell me what your experience was. And I am now cracking open this Club Columbia beer because it's so good. All Just looking at the goings on out in Bogota. Come on, you guys. Whoever's watching, if any of you guys did the worksheet, go ahead and type it in. Otherwise, we'll go through a little bit. We're running out of time here, actually. But you know the formula. Well, let's just cover it. I'm going to cover the 3 parts. If you guys want to type in your experience with each of the steps in the PDF, please type them in as much as you'd like to say about your experience with that now. If you haven't done it, get that PDF. If you didn't get the PDF, email me at radicalanddoing@gmail.com and do that before the workshop starts on 4/20. Really thoroughly go through each of those 3 steps. Start getting the results in your life, and then when you join the workshop, you're just going to go, bam! First couple of steps are going to shoot you right through to all the social goals you've ever wanted, and then the next 6 of the 8 steps are just going to be the icing on the cake. It's just going to blow your mind. It's going to expand and enhance every part of your life. One guy says, I found my inner critic voice to be the voice of my parents in like 95% of cases. Another guy says, a lot of judgmental bullshit. Some truths, but one you could say, so what to? A lot of people experience and fears. And if you guys want to write out in detail, like some of the shit that your inner critic says to you, that could probably be helpful for everyone because it's almost always the same. So write that out if you want to, be bold here. Now, the third part in that formula is that there's nothing to fear, nothing to live up to. And I said, it almost always shocks people when I help them remember that there's really nothing to live up to and that there's almost always nothing to be afraid of. Okay, so now what I said before, you take a look at your list of fears and catastrophes, take it out during part 3, go through the list and write about whether or not the fear will come true. And if it does, what's the worst thing that can happen? Write out your top 5 imagined catastrophes. So if you guys want to write out your top 5 imagined catastrophes in the chat room, that'd be awesome too. And what would happen if you did everything you're afraid of? What would really happen? So we're going to explore a lot of those during the workshop, during the live workshop on Skype. One thing to remember from part 3, you can never be anything other than what you already are. And that's something that happens without any effort on your part. Most things that you yearn for are ultimately disappointing when you actually get them. Make a top 11 yearning list. And what would you create for yourself if you had all the power in the world? Okay, so go through all those. We're going to use all that data to help start your campfire that you're going to burn the inner victim in during the 2-week workshop. Remember, there are no reality checks in your own head. Exactly. Okay, so that's basically the 3-part social invincibility worksheet, the social invincibility formula. 1, daily undoing exercises and sense and feel. That's where you say out loud everything you sense and feel in your body, no voluntary movements, no interpretations, just staying with the sensation, saying it out loud, steady stream. 2, 100% self-acceptance, 100% juice, and I showed you how to get that in the PDF. Marcel says if he does everything he really wanted, he said, I would probably go to a jail or an asylum. That's unlikely. It's unlikely. Depending on what you want to do, but even that's an adventure on its own, exactly. Just like on the episode of The Mentalist, one of my favorite episodes, season 2, episode 6, he goes to jail and he says, all right, great. It's a new experience. I welcome it. And at one point, then the woman says to him, his boss, also later becomes his partner, she says to him, Jane, you have to take this seriously. These walls are real. This jail is real. And he said, only in your mind, only in your mind. Someone else said, my inner critic is saying I haven't adequately conquered my social anxiety. That's what Charles says. But as you know from your experience, no matter what the inner critic says, doesn't mean you can't be confident out there. That's the hilarious part. So the 3 steps. 1, daily undoing, sense and feel. 2, 100% juice, 100% self-acceptance. You just remember all the time and accept yourself. Whenever you forget, you remember again. Number 3, there's nothing to fear and there's nothing to live up to. There's no one to live up to. Okay, so if you're trying to live up to all these programs, all these ideas, all these marketing gurus, all the people telling you how to be, who to be, you don't have to. You can throw that garbage out. You already are who you are, and that's awesome. And you can step into that as a real adventure. Just get out of your own way. Stop thinking you have to do anything, but be you and have fun. Be you and have fun. That's it. Pretty basic stuff here, guys. So the next thing, where did I put you? There we go. What we're going to do is real quick now, and then you guys can ask questions. We're going to burn through. We're going to talk about what the confident adventurer is. We'll talk about that at the end. Okay. The new problem, well, not the new problem. What I'm going to do first is go through. Here's the 8 steps. Okay, you guys. Get a pen and pencil out and write these down. These are the 8 steps. Number 1, 100% juice, 100% self-acceptance. That's where it all begins. So go back to your worksheet, do the exercises, watch the workshop that I provided so that you're already at 100% self-acceptance by the time we start the live workshop on 420, okay? Number 2, remember there's nothing to live up to. See, so you have 2 of the steps already right in that worksheet. Number 2, step 2, number 2, nothing to live up to. There's nothing to live up to. And what I'm going to do is use hypnosis and undoing and reason and logic to prove that to you. What do you think about role models? Are they important to you? I don't know if I use role models. If I use role models, like say this white shirt I got, this shirt I'm wearing is because I liked how the white shirts looked on Patrick Jane on The Mentalist, on the TV show. So I liked it and I got it. It's comfortable. Do I call him a role model? No, I consider him a friend that I learned from. Even though he's a TV character, I interact with him in my mind. So I learn things from him. I apply things that I learned from him in my life. But no, I don't look up to him. He's not a role model. There's people that are doing things I want to do, and they show me how I can do those things. They show me that those things are possible. So I guess that's what I think about role models. I don't have any. I used to, but we're all on the same level now. You're on the same level too. You have to realize it. The 3rd step is removing the shield and the mask, removing the mask and the armor. Okay, removing the mask and the armor. I'm going to show you how to exactly do that every single day, and how to interact with life on a deep, intense, but beautiful and very forgiving level. Okay, meaning reality is forgiving of you. You can do whatever you want, and it will support you. I'm going to prove that to you. So that's step 3. Step 4 is embrace embarrassment. You're going to go through that. Embrace embarrassment, okay? You're going to go through experiences where you feel embarrassed, and then you can embrace it and learn what it really is. I'm not going to tell you that secret because you're going to learn for yourself. That's during the live 2-week workshop. Step 5, you're the most important person in your life. You are the one. You are the one all the time. Once you realize that, that's where your adventure starts. You're the one. You are the one. You're on the final frontier all the time, and it's your perception, and that's what you're here to explore, okay? You are the one, and we'll talk about pedestals and projects there. Step 6, neediness, meeting your own needs. Step 6, we're talking about neediness. This is where we start to bait and draw out the inner victim. We're going to look at neediness and how to get rid of it. Then number 7, once we've drawn the inner victim out into the open, step 7 is execution of the victim. And you do so with the realization that you belong wherever you are all the time. You always belong all the time. You see, you can't be a victim when you always belong. You get it? You will get it. Okay, so number 7, execution of the victim, or I belong here all the time. And we'll sing a song at the end of that one too. It'll be fun. And then step 8 is listening, your secret weapon, or observation is king. Number 8, step 8, listening, your secret weapon, and observation is king. Now, as bonuses, I've actually thrown in 3 full other workshops. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of extra bonuses that you're going to get access to after you graduate the 2-week workshop, because I don't want you working on those things ahead of time. But the moment we finish the 2-week workshop, once we finish that 8th step, you're going to get access to at least 3 other complete workshops that you can do on your own, and then have an invitation to take things a lot further. Okay, once you step into that adventure, there's a bunch of logistics I can help you with, whether that's business or travel or moving around in your job or family commitments, anything in your life. I can help you with that. I can help things go a lot more smoothly. So we'll talk about the confident adventure here. The confident adventure, I want to tell you guys what it's like to live as a confident adventurer. The confident adventure doesn't have problems. The confident adventure has experiences. They look the same as what you call problems right now. Okay, sometimes the experiences look the same as what you call a problem right now. But to the adventurer, that's not a problem. Okay, you go out and get the water you need. You can go find electricity. You go get internet somewhere. Okay, you don't say, well, I can't do my business because there's no electricity. No, I march down the hill, spend an hour, go to the beach, get some sweat going, and find a place with some internet. That's all you do. Pay the guy and then give your session. You're out in the woods, the car breaks down, go out and take a walk. See what you need to do. If you need to build a shelter, figure out how that's going to work. If you need to get hitchhiking, then get on the road and do it. There's never an obstacle that can't be overcome as an adventurer. The adventurer makes his or her way anywhere. And the only question, stops being, how do I change, fix, or improve myself? And it becomes, what's the next adventure? What's my next adventure? What's my next adventure? And that can be playing awesome role-playing games on your phone. That's one of my favorite things to do. Or that can be flying out to the coast of Colombia and hiking around all day in the jungle, meeting new creatures. It can be anything you want it to be. It can be just drawing some pictures. It can be doing some finger painting that you left off at age 5. It could be anything you ever want. Your life is yours. It's yours right now. I want you to start doing it. Just do it. And I promise you, the victim just disappears. Kill that motherfucker, okay? That's what I have to say about that. So I'm getting toward the end here. If you guys have any questions, now's the time to start typing those things in. Basically, the idea here is that how to make all this stuff stick. Now you know the 8 steps, but how do you apply them? What happens? It's easy to drift back into your life and think you didn't learn anything, or start feeling like a victim again. Everyone can do that. Oh, well, Garrett says that, but he's got it good. He's got it easy or whatever. That's not true. I have it the exact same way you have it. And the thing is, what are you going to do when you go back into your life today after watching this? You know, are you going to apply this stuff? Are you going to really do it? Is it going to stick or not? Okay. So what I want you to do is to click on that link down below to join the complete live workshop. The basic thing is that this takes daily wake-up calls. This takes daily wake-up calls to not sink back into the victim mentality. You got to kill the victim once and for all. Second thing is we're going to have a live group where we're all face-to-face experiencing each other, which is impossible to do in this format. So we're going to have a live group where we go through any of the difficult parts together. You're going to go through the hard parts, and then when you go back out into your life, you're going to really enjoy it, okay? So my solution is the Victim to Adventure Social Invincibility Workshop, or the Social Anxiety to Social Invincibility Workshop. And if you click on the big orange button right below the video here, you're going to see a page. You'll see another video with me explaining that you're going to get 4 private sessions as well. That's if you sign up by the end of tomorrow night at midnight, the end of Sunday at midnight. So you'll see on that page when you click to it, there's a countdown. So you get all the bonuses. You get the 2-week workshop, plus you get 4 full sessions with me. So we'll extend it 2 extra weeks. And we'll go through all the steps that we're going through in the group workshop in detail. So anything you have trouble with, we'll meet in person. But I'm only doing that for people who sign up throughout this weekend, because there's just no way I'm going to be able to do, or no way I want to do 11 full sessions every week during that time. Okay, so if you want that, get signed up today. Get signed up before the end of tomorrow night. We're going to fill up pretty quick. Like I said, there's 11 spaces. So click on that and check it out. That's my solution. We went through the 8 steps. You know what they are. You know exactly what we're going to cover. I'm going to give you powerful tools that you can hammer away at in your own life, and that will hammer away. It's funny. That's not the case, actually. These are super powerful tools you can use in your own life to feel really good, to start having more fun, and to change the focus of your life from your problems to actually your adventure. You don't even have to solve your problems. That's the big secret. You don't have to solve them. I promise you it's true. You don't have to solve your problems. They will go away once you become more occupied with your adventure. And anyone who doesn't like that, they can fuck right off. In your life, in my life, wherever. No one can stop you from being the adventurer you're meant to be. If you need help remembering, watch Indiana Jones. So some of the benefits of this, the benefits of the workshop, obviously calm, confident adventure. You are going to be a calm, confident adventurer for the rest of your life. That's my aim. That's what I'm going to deliver to you. I've been doing this stuff for a long time, and now I've deduced the formula to social invincibility, and that's what I'm going to give to you. But where else is that going to affect your life? You're going to get the raise you want. You're going to get the jobs you want. You're going to get the women you want. You're going to get the men you want. You're going to have the friendships you want. You're going to break apart the friendships you don't want. You're going to stop letting your family take advantage of you. You're going to get what you want with your family. Have a lot more fun with everybody you meet, travel to other countries and be able to communicate. You know, everything is going to open up from here. This is the root of it. Once you stop being afraid of other people, and I want to talk quick about that, Ghost World. Go to the mall. Everyone's there thinking about what the other people are thinking about them. And when everyone's doing that, where is anyone? No one is there. You're in ghost land, okay? So there's no need to live in Ghostland. Once you're out of Ghostland, you'll be able to see the other people that aren't living in Ghostland, and they are awesome, and you can hang out with them and have a lot of fun, and they'll have project ideas you never thought of that feel amazing, and that's where creativity, motivation, inspiration really come from. Edmar says, so what is a problem? A problem is something you chose to focus on that is a clash between your expectations and ideas versus your direct experience of reality. So what we'll do in the course is destroy the part of you that believes your expectations and desires are somehow based in reality, and then from there show you what the majesty of what reality actually is, what you actually are in it. Then from there allow you to expand into your kingdom, so to speak. Take advantage to start enjoying your life, okay? So that's it. That's it. It's limited to 11 people. If you guys have any questions, I want you to ask them to me now, but otherwise go ahead and click on that big orange button below. You can even read a little more about it down there. But the 8 steps for social invincibility, just scroll on down and click that, and you'll see what you get with that is 4 sessions for me. Now, this is the last time you're ever going to be able to get that outside of the context of the elite training, okay? And actually, even in elite training, I'm not doing private sessions. So this is the last chance, actually, for you to get 4 private sessions with me outside of the context of major, major high-end workshop experiences, okay? So I want to let you guys know that right now. You have now, from now until the end of Sunday to sign up. And the cool thing is what you'll notice, the workshop is normally $997, but what you'll see is we have it down to $797. I took $200 off for all you guys who watched the webinar. And from there, you'll get $200 off, plus you get the 4 sessions with me, plus you get the entire group workshop, and you get that content forever. All that stuff will be recorded. You'll get the videos forever. It's just going to be an amazing, fun group experience, unlike anything else you've ever done up to now. So that's it. That's what I've got for you guys for today. Any questions for me on the 8-step formula, the 3-part formula to social invincibility, anything at all? We've got about 9 minutes here. So let me know. Type those into the chat room. Any questions up to now? All right, I'll give it just a few minutes because sometimes these things come in after the fact. So the way that breaks down too, I wanted to let you guys know what we'll be doing is meeting 2 times, possibly 4 times each week. It's going to be on Monday and on Friday. Then we'll have some cool stuff you guys do with each other over the weekend, okay, via text message and whatnot. Then it's going to be again the next week on Monday, and again that Friday. Plus you'll get your private lesson, private session with me each of those weeks, plus 2 more to make sure the changes really stick. So the price breakdown is basically 4 to 4 hour sessions with the group. That's going to be 12 to 16 hours totally. And then after that, another 4 private sessions with me. And again, that's if you sign up through here, through watching this webinar today. Plus, you get a couple $100 off. So the price breakdown is you're going to get these tools forever. You're going to overcome your social anxiety, kill your fears, kill your inner victim, and achieve social invincibility and start living your life as a confident adventurer. I'm going to show you exactly what that is and give you the direct experience of it and allow you to step into that. And he says, you mentioned that all of that's based on undoing and hypnosis and adventures. Can you give us some examples for adventures you can do on your own? Yeah, there's the grocery store experiment. This is a really fun one. You'll find this in the inner circle. Like I said, oh, I didn't even mention this on the other pages. You will get access to Command Inner Circle if you don't. Beautiful, amazing place, full of supportive people, expanding into their lives as adventurers, just like you. So an example for an adventure to do on your own, the grocery store experiment. You go down to a local grocery store, one that has an electronic door that slides, and you walk up to you wait for someone else to trigger the electronic door. You go in behind them, so as if the door would have triggered if you were there or not. Okay, so you don't trigger the door. You go in, then you wander around the grocery store, not touching anything, for a half hour to an hour. Looking around at everything and looking around at the people, not touching anyone or anything. And then then you leave in the same manner in which you entered. You wait for someone to trigger the door and walk out right behind them. And then go out and write about your experience. That's one. Another one I've done is shopping out of other people's carts or baskets. Just go shop a few items out of someone else's cart. The main thing with these adventures is you don't want to break character. Stay in the moment. Stay there with the role. Don't say, oh, I'm doing an undoing experiment. That just ruins it. That's an adventure. Go rock climbing. That's a great adventure. Go hiking around your neighborhood. Use a dice. A dice walk is another nice adventure. But we'll get into really specific adventures you can use to conquer social anxiety. It's stuff that you'd never imagine. It's really easy to do, and that'll give you crazy, huge benefits and results. The whole point of the art of not giving a fuck is that it's way easier and simpler to accomplish the things you want to accomplish than it seems, than it's presented in all the crap load of books out there and all the other programs. I'm going to give you the real goods here. Any other questions you guys have? Let me know if you have troubles getting to the site or purchasing the workshop. This one's going to be super awesome. Just going to be fast, bang through so many experiences. All right, so any other questions before we go today? Just let me know. All right, anybody there? Any other questions? Just checking to see if we got any via email there. Let's see. Okay, well, if no further questions, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Just so you guys know, if any of you joined late, we're going to be doing this again tomorrow. I will be sending you out an email notification about the time. I'll send that out tonight so you guys all know when the webinar will be tomorrow. We're going to cover the same kind of stuff, but as always, I go with the flow. I don't have it all planned out. So you guys will be able to have a fun experience like that, and then we'll go from there. So thanks for joining me. I always love doing this. That's why I do these things. I love sharing this information, and it's amazing to me how fast you can make these changes. So just let me know. If you have any questions, again, write me at radicalundoing@gmail.com, and I'll get you that other link just in case. If you're ready to sign up right now, there's the link. If you guys have any questions or need me to help you out with payments or anything like that, just write me at radicalundoing@gmail.com, and from there we will call it a day. Go out and have an awesome adventure, and I look forward to hearing from you. Anybody who's watching, write me an email, let me know how it goes, and I look forward to seeing you at the Social Invincibility Workshop starting on 4/20. See you then.